Hello, Mgtows. Hello, man. Okay, there's my sound check. Everything's working fine. We can move along here. We can move along, Joe. Move along. Okay. Today we're going to talk a little bit about humor. Humor. I've been doing humors. I've been doing humor and trying my hand at humor. Sometimes I'm not very good at it because I'm a serious person, but sometimes I just find the humor all around. Sometimes you have to find the humor and Mgtow where you can find it. There's just too many things that are too seriously. There's not really a lot of philosophy about humor. It's the philosophers alone. They looked at it, but no one could quite put their fingers on it. It's universal to humans. It's biological. You need a few things in this life. You need to eat, drink. You need to sleep. You need to socially interact with like-minded people, like we do here in Mgtow. But sometimes it gets all too seriously. The culture, there's taboos, there's kinship relationships, they call them, and that's your relationship with your family. The rules and all those things get all overwhelming, and it gets all too much, and sometimes you just have to end that, and you got to find an escapism, whatever escape is you use to do that. Some people play video games, some people do sporting events. I ride my bike. It's escapism for me, but even that, sometimes we get in this rut. We get in a rut, and we just can't identify what's real in this world anymore. And like I say, the theater of the absurd sometimes just gets overwhelming, and we have to find some kind of something funny, something humorous. And most of the time you'll notice as a Mgtow that your body will take it over. When you need humor, the body's there for humor. You'll just start laughing at the things you see. One of the features of humor has been noted and emphasized by Aristotle. It's human bonding is what happens when you share human jokes with other people, and funny pictures, videos like I made today. Humor is where we connect with others sometimes, and we can find humor in a lot of things, and I think it's important. Sometimes humor goes overboard. There's racist humor, there's sexist humor. It's still humor, but we still find it funny. A lot of the feminists are not too keen on the sexist humor, and the racist humor sometimes is not good to do, and we wonder why that adds to why that even is funny sometimes. I think all races do it, and from Chinese to Japanese to Afro-Americans, to Africans, to Irish, to whatever, they all do that kind of humor at work. You got to kind of listen to the joke, and you just sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. Sometimes it's the flyby on humor. The philosophy is pretty easy. It's usually absurdity, something abstract, something something sarcastic, something sometimes not so sarcastic and funny, something delightfully interesting, or even something pretty gross sometimes. It's how you pose it and everything. And humor is important, and you have to do it. And I think we don't do that around Mgtow too much. Hello, Victor von Frankenstein. No olive branch needed. I forget daily, and I forget and forgive now, and I don't take things too serious, so that's okay. I love you, dude, and that's. But humor is one thing that we don't do around Mgtow a lot. We try to do it once a year, and most of the people really fail. And hello, Benjamin. Hello, Taryn. And it becomes something that's it just becomes something that we lose in this serious place that we have here with the gender dynamics. Gender dynamics is it'll drain your soul if you do it 100% of the time. It gets to you, and then everything becomes so serious, and I think that's when we get triggered. That's when we get easily triggered. Today I seen humor, and I did some I did a few videos that I just thought were funny. With Pete Sapper is he's a new Mgtow troll. He calls us weird. He calls us everything. He says, we can't live without the female, and he often simps a lot, and he's going to teach us a lesson. That's what he says. He's going to teach us a lesson about about life. When Let me show you this, and I found some humor today, and I'd like to thank Xiaomi for it. And sometimes every Mgtow's got his place, and remember, every one of you guys, every person in here has their Mgtow place. And sometimes I lost sight of that in the past, because things, you just can't take things that seriously around here. It'll drive you crazy. And let me do infinity screen. Where did my things go? There it was up there. I couldn't find the button. The button disappeared. But humor is important to find it where you can. There's infinity screen for you. I love doing that. I'm sorry. And then we look at Pete's video. This is Pete, and he's the guy. He's laying in bed, and he says, "I don't have to get out of bed to shame you, Mgtows, into submission." He's going at Mgtow 3 or 4 days here, and he's telling us all about ourselves. He doesn't like us. He doesn't. There's Tigress, and there's Traversable Philosophy. This is the guy with the little arm. That I told him about the little arm. But you find something really humorful sometimes in this thing, and there's Miss Misandry. We all know Miss Misandry. Let me clear plus this. There's Miss Misandry. We all know Miss Misandry. It's Xiaomi, and she says, "Shame only works if you get acknowledge or take talk care about it." And she's probably right about that. And Pete, in his PUA simping ways, comes back, "Incredible that such knowledge is evident of a woman." Yet totally invisible to these so-called woke in the know Mgtows. He's hating us, but he loves the women. He loves the women's, but he doesn't know right about now that he's talking to Xiaomi. Hence my previous video, victim-minded people, and he's talking about us Mgtows always being the first to proclaim their moral intellectual superiority. That's Dr. Pete Semper. and he doesn't know who he's talking to, and she comes back and she says, "Well, it's actually a chick with a dick, but I look very feminine," because he doesn't know. He's new to Mgtow. He didn't do his research. And I said, "Oops, he probably didn't know that." That's so perfect. Thank you, Xiaomi. And I thanked her a million times. I thank Xiaomi a million times. She says, "No problem, man." She has her place in Mgtow, and I like to I'll take this down here again, and let's get back to the board and talk about humor. Humor is important. You have to find humor where you can find it here in Mgtow, because man, it doesn't come around every day, and But Pete's going to find out about humor. If he stays around humor, he's not going to be that much of a. He's gonna learn that he shouldn't do these things. He's going to learn a lot about Mgtow and 9 months together. And I think some people show up, troll on live streams. Yeah, some people show up and troll on live streams. Thanks for coming around, guys. And like I say, I think I say it at the end of each video a lot, and I really mean it. If it wasn't for each and every one of you guys being Mgtows, we all have our places, and we all have our things that we do, and sometimes it's hard to get along, and sometimes it's hard to sometimes it's just hard in here. And with the longer you stay around, you're gonna notice a reciprocal pattern of people coming in, people coming out, and that's Mgtow. People come, they get what they want, they hear what they want, they discover a new way of thinking, and then they leave. You don't have to stay around to Mgtow. A lot of the guys stay around for long periods of time. Some of the guys just kind of hang out in the rear now, and they point and they laugh, and they just wow, what can we do about this thing? What can we do about this thing in the world that we talk about? And there's really nothing we can do about it. So sometimes when you're looking in the face of a futile act, you can run at something you can run at a bear with a knife and you're probably going to lose. And that bear that we're fighting, it's a big old bear. It's about 14 stories high, and it goes by the name of Uncle Sam or whatever prospective government you're in, and you can't defeat that thing. And they think the way they are, and they're never going to take in any Mgtow philosophy or see the truth in some of the things that we say. Try to make the world better for everybody to live in instead of a place where men are slaves and women are the entitled class, and they like it that way because they get that split V. And I know how that is for those guys. That's what they want. They'll work 12 hours a day in a hot steel mill, go home, and that's all that's important. As long as they got that, it was never that misery in 114 degree a steel mill, 140 degrees sometimes. It was never that misery as long as they got home to that. And I understand how addicting that is. We all understand how addicting that is. And we have this job as MGTOWs to say, man, you don't have to live in that kind of misery. You don't have to do it. I was reading a sports story today, a sports by Trevor Bauer. Trevor Bauer came out with some revealing stuff about what he does and how he thinks about relationships and everything. Trevor Bauer is Cleveland Indians pitcher. He's probably one of the best pitchers in the league. Now he was third in line for the Cy Young Award this year, which is always pretty impressive. He came out and he says there's rules to dating now, and he's a end of the Xer millennial break into the millennial, and I didn't realize how things had changed in dating out there. I haven't been active for a real long time now, and how the guys are actually thinking about it and everything. And he spouted off a few times, and the social justice people just cut into him, and he dug into him, and they made his life miserable. And he came out with a couple pages article today about Trevor Bauer and his dating preferences. And he says, I don't date seriously. I don't want nothing to do. He says, I don't want to be an emotional tampon to you. If you want to be an emotional tampon, just go away. He said, I don't put up with that stuff. He knows he's worth 30, 40, $50 million after being a pitcher, for a very good pitcher for a number of years. He's going to get 30, 40 million dollars. And he says, I don't care about relationships. I don't do the emotional stuff, and I sleep around. And I'm not going to ask you. And that's where you go into Joe's philosophy of Mgtow. I don't care what people do in their lives. I don't care who they sleep with, what they sleep with. I don't care if they're gay. I don't care if they're transsexual. I don't care anything about what people do in their bedroom, as long as they don't start putting it in this year. I don't care about it. I don't want to know. I'm never going to tell about what I do. I'm never going to talk about that. I'm never going to talk about how that was or what that looked like or anything like that. I have a stoicism about me. I don't do those things. I don't talk about those things, and I think it's pretty offensive when people do talk about them around me. So that's the Mgtow. And Trevor Bauer was he's like I don't talk about them things. I don't. He says I sleep around, and I don't want to argue with that about anybody, especially someone that I'm dating. He says, I date women. I said to somebody, tell them I sleep with other people. If you don't like that, bye. Bye. So that's a real Mgtow point of view. And I think we're slowly creeping in the world where people are not taking this religialistic stuff so seriously anymore. And it's going to change the world in a way. And I think I'm seeing it out there, and I can get the chance to laugh at it and go, look at that. And underneath all those undertones of this is, I'm the man, I'm the alpha, I'm the pitcher, I'm the sports star, I'm the guy, I'm that, I'm blah, 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 blah. What he's really saying is I'm scared to death. I'm scared to fucking death that I'm going to take in, somebody's going to sperm jack me, and I'm going to end up with a woman. And in 2 years after my professional sporting career is over, that's when most of the marriages, 98% of marriages in professional sports end 2 years after the contracts end. And he says, I don't want to pay for that for the rest of my life, and I'll do what I'm doing. I hope he gets more Mgtow attitude about that stuff, and I hope a lot of sports stars start saying it. Like, I'm scared to death of this Me Too. I'm scared to death of gold diggers. I'm scared to death of the courts. We looked at a few sports stars earlier this year. I think RG3 was one of them. Got the girl from Maple Heights pregnant, and then found out that the mother was a professional. She was a professional gold digger in her time, and she taught that baby little girl how to be a professional sport gold digger. Let me see, goes all in there. So there was, Richard Pryor, not Richard Pryor, what's his name? Pryor, he was our ex-quarterback that turned wide receiver. He left, and he got a young lady pregnant, and he found out all about that gold digging stuff in sports. And I think a lot of the sports people are seeing that. And it's not funny. It's not funny. People are like, oh, well, he'll just give her half his stuff, and which is half of 40-50 million bucks is a lot of money. And paying $300,000 a month for child support is one of the absurdities in life that we look out and we go, man, that's a little excessive. 3,000 is a little excessive. What a person really needs is about $1,400 to $1,600 a month to raise a few children, and that's it. And then there's half and halves there, and 50-50s down the middle. That would mean about $700 a month. If you're doing your half and I'm doing my half, they all have a pretty comfortable living, and you can do your own thing. And that's what I say, women, just do your own thing. Get out there and and don't ask for nothing, and that's 100% your responsibility and everything. But it's not funny sometimes. It's abhorrent. Some of the things I read about in the press, and the sporting people are even catching on. And the football people, last year we had the guy from Texas come out and he says, I'm a bachelor for life, because I can see too many gold diggers out there. Who can I trust? And what he was saying is, how could I trust anybody? I've seen it. I've watched it all my life. How can I trust anything? And that's what the young men, a lot of the young men coming in now, they're not going to experience these things because the culture has changed. The culture has changed, and what they got to witness was guys like me getting dragged up and down the street by the divorce courts and punched over and over and ended up in jail and do all those beautiful things. We all end up homeless. And at one point in the 1990s or 2000, it got too overbearing for our society, and men started saying, no, I'm not doing that. Look, I've been watching this for 20 years now. Men are just getting pummeled out there. They're getting pummeled. Wants, needs, choices are different. Mgtow men understand it very well. Yeah. I don't trust that. You don't trust Doug, the thing? I don't trust Doug either. Doug, he's an animal. He's been bothering me all day today, but he's good. I don't trust Doug. Doug would stab me in the middle of the night for a can if he could. But I understand that from my dog. I know there's no emotions with him. I know there's no real feelings and everything, but I do know he feels pain, and he feels sadness, and he'll feel sadness if he ever ran away and didn't have me around, because I'm the can provider. I hunt the cans. Who's Doug? Doug's my dog, Victor. He's a little dog over there, and yeah, we all love him when he shows up. He'll show up at a certain time in this podcast to say hello to everybody. That's that's the way he is. But Doug's my dog. He's something. He's something. I often use Doug as analogies about how women act too. Dogs and women sometimes, they want it all. But today we're talking about humor. Humor is important in Mgtow. Sometimes you just got to let it go and learn how to laugh at some of these things. I do it quite often now. I just look around and I can see the humor in some of the new guys, the PUAs, and I don't know if it's that. Yeah, I think it's that Red Man group. Someone informed me today about the Red Man group, and they're always coming at us. That's that Rollo Tomasi bunch of you can practice your that's so ridiculous. You can practice your PUA and then get married, and then your PUA will save you from false allegation, from divorce. It'll save you from everything, and it's a okay way to live, I suppose, and that's great until that thing comes crashing down. And if you're one of the lucky ones, hey, you're one of the lucky ones. Hello, Dr. Amney. Hello, Taryn Marine. uh, so I'm just going to do humor this week, and I'm going to try to lighten up a little bit. But that's my whole thing this year. I'm just trying to lighten up, and not let it take. I don't like I don't like it when Mgtow causes stress in my life. Thanks a lot, Marco Polo. I don't like it. I don't think anybody likes it when Mgtow. That's why I talk about the. Uh, that's why I talk about the casual cruelty that goes around in here sometimes, and we sling things out sometimes that we shouldn't, and it makes people feel bad. And whether you're having a great Mgtow experience or a good Mgtow experience, we all deserve a good Mgtow experience, and that starts with each and every one of us. And I'll do my part from now on, just not to be so flippant like in the past. And I'm learning how to be a better person. When I was younger, man, I wasn't a good person at all, and I'm learning that I can be I can be taught even at an old age. So you can teach old dogs, uh, but and sometimes I think, oh, I'm just wearing down. I'm just wearing down, and I don't have the strength to be that stoic anymore with anything. Uh, I just don't resist anything, and I just laugh at it and let them know that it's the theater of the absurd. Let it go. Just go, do your thing, and I'll sit back here and sip on a beer, and me and Dougie will laugh. Are you learning too? There's a lot to learn to Mgtow, and I don't think I've been around here quite a long time, and it's a never-ending process. It's a never-ending process, and sometimes I look back 8, 9, 10 years, and I think, wow, some things that I didn't believe 10 years ago, I've changed my mind about, and we can video analog these stuffs, and that's what we do. We give ourselves our channels, our histories of our lives, and that's what they really are. They're summaries of our growth period here at Mgtow. Some of the channels last. That's why a lot of these guys should really never take the channels down, and because art is, in the future, someone's going to stumble upon some of these, and look and be able to tell that here's when Joe first came in, and here's his attitude, and then here's now, and here's his attitude now, and look and say, I think he's a better person. I think he doesn't have that thing that he used to have, where everything was so serious. But in life, things are serious sometimes. When you work in a steel mill, or you work with dangerous jobs and everything, we get that attitude as men. We have to be serious 100% of the time. If we let loose at night, and then we get too used to letting loose with those people, we carry that to work, and sometimes letting loose at work and being silly and everything. Look what happened to Rich Pena, the pitch line. It ran off. Yeah, sorry to hear that. Yeah, sometimes we let loose, and then when we're at work, we're in dangerous situations. Boy, did I screw that word up. And all men do, I think. When I'm fixing a press, and there's heavy stuff around, and things are shooting around, and it's hot, and I don't want to get burnt anymore in my life. I get burnt too much when you're working above a big ladle of hot salt or acid or something like that. You can't afford to be goofy. You can't afford to be silly, and you can't not afford to be joking around or doing horseplay. People die when that happens, and men all know that. We all have strict rules about that, and that becomes our lives. In the mills, there's not a lot of mills left, and there's not a lot of those kind of jobs, those forging jobs. The hot mills, the furnaces are burning, and they're sending red hot metal through through furnaces making parts and slinging them over to 200-ton presses and 400-ton presses and 2,000-ton presses and slamming down at a preset of 500 tons. And them jobs are dangerous. I've seen things fly off. I've seen dies shatter. I've seen men take a piece of die and pull it out of his chest, and them are the dangerous things we do. And we just talk a lot about the dangerous jobs, the logging, the police work, the foraging jobs, and um, men lose their humor. Men lose their they. You can look at any cop and try to joke with any cop. There is no humor left in that person at all. He can't afford to. He has to be serious 100. He has to be on the ball. His head's got to be on a swivel, and that's 100% of the time. And if he ever loses that, then he might lose his life, or not see something that's coming, or not see someone that's going to get hurt, and that becomes our little thing. But after a while with that'll make you absolutely crazy. Life gets too intense, and I've had a headache for about a month now, and I couldn't figure out why I've had a headache. Just a constant headache and everything, and then I had to take care of that. I had to do something out of the ordinary. That's maybe start laughing a little more, go out, talk to people, figure out what it was. I started walking instead of driving my bike. Uh, uh, just looking around and trying to engage with the people and everything in my neighborhood and talk and do that. But humor was one of the things that I've been using lately, and I'm not quite practiced at the art of humor. Like I said, being a stoic male for most of my life, being bound to that traditionalism, you're not, that you can't afford to let go sometimes. And but it is important. Like I said, Socrates and he talked about it a couple times, and we don't get the information about that from no. We come home and we get bland humor from TV shows, and I can't even stand looking at the TV shows now. I went to I steal all my shows anyways. I went to the internet thing, and I'm looking through, and I'm like, that one sucks, that one sucks. And there's all these things are supposed to be humor, but it comes from the female point of view. And the only good show I watch that's humorful now is Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I don't know if you guys like that. I like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, so I've been watching that because it's funny, and it gets me out of this gender dynamics world. Sometimes it'll take me back into that gender dynamics world, but it's funny. That's Adam Sandberg, I think his name is. I'm not really sure what his name is, but he's funny, and it's funny and humorous, and I don't have to take it that serious. Yeah, we all started without you. Okay, who's in those? Deving's in, Russell's in, Deving, Marco Polo, everybody's, yeah, I noticed that it was kind of dry tonight, and it was kind of late, and I was not really in the mood for laying my head down and not doing nothing. Dougie's been out 500,000 times today, and I got sick of that, and then I was going to make myself a cup of tea here pretty soon and try to relax. It's getting close, 8 minutes to midnight, and try to relax, but I was kind of wound up today, and I just got back from my walk a little. Like I said, I've been walking lately, and my knees feel better. I noticed my knees stiffening up, and I had to ask myself a lot of questions when that happens. But most of you know, I tore both my Achilles tendons back in about 10 years ago, and I couldn't walk for 2 years. And calcium started building up on my body, and it was hard to walk after that. And I had to figure out how to fix that stuff because the doctors didn't have no clue how to fix it. Finally, I went to this one little doctor who 50, 60 miles away, and somebody had suggested, and she said, you know what, we'll have to decalciate you. And so she decalciated me, and I was like, oh, that feels great. And I got to ride bikes and walk again, and I didn't think I was ever going to walk again. uh, we walk normal. I didn't want to be one of those guys with the handicap sticker jumping out of my truck. you know that was that was not going to be that was not in the plans for me. I was a jump off a bridge before that. But that's part of life, sometimes those things happen. And life happens to you, and it's not very humorful, and it's sickening. And nobody's going to care if you're a single male like me, and nobody comes around, and there's no family, there's nothing. My son comes around, and if anything ever did happen, he'd find my corpse of a body in 6 months or so, when he visits once in a while, if he still has his key, if he didn't forget it, or or if he didn't lose it again. Kids and keys. You ever try giving a kid a key? Man, if he doesn't lose it in 2 days, it's like, man, you're pretty good. You're pretty good. You got to buy them special key holders and stuff, because kids will lose keys. Um, but that's not really Mgtow. uh, yeah, humor is important in this world, and you got to find it where you can, or else this thing's going to drive you nuts. It's absolutely going to drive you nuts. And males get stuck up in that stoicism, and that male stoicism. I've been talking a lot about stoicism lately, and the male stoicism. Male stoicism is really good in some cases, when we don't react. We get stoic, and we just kind of look, and we give the male gaze, or the male look, or that thing that everybody hates, and we just kind of. I know that's maddening. That's maddening for most women, when you do that, and you just look at them, and that's stoicism. I'm not going to say anything, but I find whatever you're doing is repulsive. So stop doing it. And that's what look. We give them looks to our kids. Your father gave you that look. He didn't have to say anything. He just gave you the look. Or he did the glasses. My father would do the glasses. He would go like this. He'd go. And I knew I was in trouble at that point. But that's male stoicism, and the male gaze. They hate the male gaze nowadays. The male gaze is intense, and it's speech without it's communication without actually having to say something. And most people that ever did any research on communication, 86% of the communication in our lives are hand movements, gestures, looks, and stuff like that. That's how we communicate, and we take it lightly. We take it, but you think about what it is with the male gaze. When they start talking about the male gaze, they want to take a piece of how men communicate, the wink, wink, nod, nod between each other, the gentle, uh-huh, uh-huh. Even at work, when I'm up on a lift fixing lights and running lights or something, we communicate with hand signals, because we can't hear each other. We communicate with body signs. You can't be yelling up to me at you with a bullhorn. I go like this, and I like that, and he knows exactly what I want. Or I'll go like this, and like that, and he knows exactly what I want. We have a whole set of hand signals. But men do that too. Men have these looks, these things they give us, the wink, wink, nod, nod. When you walk by a dude, you're saying, "What's up, dude?" you know, stuff like that. We don't have to communicate. It's why we have so much less words. But when you think about they say men have much less words. I have more words than most men, but you can talk for hours, because I'm that kind of person. But they want to take a piece of our communication away. You think about it that way. They want to take a piece of the Mgtow communication away. And how cruel, how evil, how degenerate is that? The male gaze. You want to take the male gaze away. You want to take the male look away. And but those are the things we have to deeply look at in our community. We have to deeply look at what they want to take away from us, because they'll take everything away from you as a male. everything that you got, right down to your soul, and they'll strip it clean. Uh, that's the utility of a male. It's worse, everything about you down to the metaphysical from the metaphysical from these two strong arms to what you can do, your skills, what you can teach others is worth money to them. And that goes right down to the male gaze, the way we communicate and everything. That's worth. And if they could take that away, they're going to get something from it. But that's the world we live in, and that's a sad place. And like I say, sometimes you just got to find the humor in it. Just and when they walk away, just give them the look, or you can give them the smile. The fake smile always works for me. When someone comes up and they start talking, I go, kind of push out a fake smile, and they know. I was like, damn, that dude. It's impossible to via body language to lie via. Yeah, it's impossible to lie. We do things. The humans do things, and I think I gave a few. I think I gave a few videos about what to look for in people. People look up and to the left when they're thinking. People look up and to the right when they're lying. You know, some people do the pouty faces. Some people move their heads. So you look for language in that, and you can figure people out pretty good if you haven't studied anything like that. There's a great book called "Never Be Lied to Again." Pick it up and read it. It's a day read, and it teaches us a lot about facial movements and body movements and people that fidget all the time and stuff like that. People that aren't comfortable in their bodies. How that tells you about them. So they want to take those things away. They want to make us all stoic. They want to take our facial movements away. They don't want the male gaze. They don't want men manspreading. Yeah, because they have no idea what it's like to have a set of those in between your legs and just kind of air them out once in a while. They can't imagine that, and try to push them. They want you to push them together so it's painful, and that's another thing they're saying. They want to present pain to you on a bus ride home or at a subway. It's like, oh, you get to choose how much pain I get. Yeah, I'll remember that. And I do remember everything they say to me like that. Like we say, Mgtow never forgets and Mgtow never forgives. And when people talk like that, we go, yeah, I'll be to see you someday about that. And I like to think I can go visit each person that makes those kind of statements and visit them and have a special conversation with me and, be the see ya and take care of those things. But hey, the internet makes it possible for men to blabber off like this Pete Semper guy or whatever his name is. They blabbers off, and he's 300 miles away. He doesn't care because I can't reach out and give him one of these big fists in his face. So he's perfectly safe. But that's where Mgtow comes in each and every one of you guys. Someday there'll be a Mgtow in every corner. Someday there's going to be a Mgtow in every store, at every church. Someday there's going to be a Mgtow in every police station, a couple dozen Mgtows in each police station, because I think we belong in that capacity with dealing out law fairly. Someday there'll be Mgtows everywhere, and you won't be able to get away with saying that stuff. Someone will be the see ya, for sure. I like that statement. That's one of my favorite statements in life. Yeah, I'll be to see you someday. That means my life will be to come and handle that with you some days. So with this thing, sometimes you just got to find the humor in it. And I found the humor in it today. Xiaomi made me laugh. And I laughed hard at Pete. Pete was simping hard. He was simping hard. And he'll go around simping hard until he finally figures out in his life, maybe he'll have that bad experience. Maybe he'll go on for the rest of his life. I see guys 80-year-old guys out there simping hard. They're living for that. I used to do a lot of social work back in the day, and I see some of the most awful things to 78, 80-year-old men that were still simping, paying for that. And I pulled them, man, wrapped in a shower curtain on duct tape and wrapped in a shower curtain out of a bathtub once with his mouth duct taped because the girl he thought he trusted, 30-year-old girl nurse that he brought in his house, stole his social security check, and he wouldn't give her $20 for some drugs or something that she wanted, so she duct taped him and threw him in the bathtub and wrapped him up in a. I see things like that, and they're horrible. And them are the things you don't see. Them are the things that you don't get in the news. We had two guys around the corner here. One guy up around the corner. One guy froze to death. These elderly people, um, they get old and they're still simping, and they're bringing the devil into their house, and they're putting themselves at risk. And you would think anybody my age or older, and that's where I judge. If you're my age or older and you ain't got over that simp thing, you can't be my friend. You can't be my friend because there's something wrong with your brain. I'm pretty sure if you ain't got it by this time, you ain't never going to get it. I say that even though I'm trying to change myself and try to be a more likable person. I don't know if that's going to happen. Uh, I might just wander out of this house one day and start walking like Forrest Gump and start walking south because I really want to get somewhere where I can kill an alligator with my bare hands because I think that would be fun before I die. That's my bucket list. I want to kill it. Actually, I got my hammer and I want to kill an alligator with my hammer and do something badass before I die. So you guys will have a story to tell your kids. How a Mgtow killed an alligator with a hammer. That'll be a story and a half. But that's what I want. It's also confusing sometimes about what you want, and sometimes you don't get what you want. I'd like to jet set off to Brazil and uh, and enjoy Carnival this year, but I don't think that can happen. Or fly Ireland so I can enjoy a beer in an Irish pub one day with my buddy Shingles, but I don't know if that's going to happen either. It's all up in the air, and it's all up to fate. Um, but MGTOW's weird that way. Sometimes I put things in order with my MGTOW, and I like to think my life is pretty ordered. But you can never know when the chaos is going to creep in or what that order is predictive into your life. It's just going to go in the way it goes, and sometimes you can do things, and it's the same way with everybody. Sometimes you can do it, sometimes you can't. Sometimes you run short on money, sometimes you got too much money. Who the hell knows? I don't know, and I'm old enough to know that I don't know, and that's one of the most beautiful qualities, to know that I have no fucking idea. And I know that's tough for a lot of the young guys. They think they know it all. They think they're going to live forever. Yeah, I used to be that guy. I used to be that guy, and I was quite a dick. I really was. I apologize to anybody I ran into. Like 86 is probably me, and I'm sorry. But we get time to try to make amends for those things, and that's what I'm doing in my life now, trying to make amends for a lot of that being a dick when I was a younger boy. uh, yeah, plenty of money, but I can't. Yeah, sometimes you have plenty of money and you just don't have time to travel. There's a lot of things that go into that. I hear about the PUAs jet setting around the world. They're just dropping money out of their pockets. When they run, coins drop out of their pocket. They're telling all those stories, and I think, wow, I wish I knew how you do that. Why don't you teach me how to do that? Because I don't think it's real. I don't think that. I don't know if it's real. Maybe they were born with a rich daddy, and having a rich daddy doesn't make you smart. It just makes your pockets loaded, and you can do that thing with your jet set around the world. But most of us can't do that. And if they did have a rich daddy and they're jet setting around the world, I wouldn't trust a thing that they have to say about reality because they're not living in reality. Uh, But if you talk to any of the PUAs, they'll tell you that they're getting tons of ass, and they're jet setting around the world, and girls are just throwing themselves at them in the bar because they know something that you don't know. Yeah. They've been red pilled. Everybody in the world's been red pilled. Lacey Green's been red pilled. Uh, she knows something I don't know, and she's going to let me know someday. I'm sure of it. And every feminist out there thinks they're red pill. They know something that everybody else in the world doesn't know. But the real truth comes in sometimes when you say, I just don't know. And I'll just try to find the humor in this Mgtow thing. Sit back here, lean my head back, and point and laugh sometimes, because that's all you can really do. And at least you find some kind of enjoyment where there was none. So, oh, PUA laugh my ass off selling shit for brains. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I wish I could figure out. Me and my buddy often talk about that. We got to find some metaphysical thing that I can sell. And I said, well, we could sell religion. And he's like, nah, that's kind of scummy. I had a brother that was a two brothers, matter of fact. One of them was a prison. He was in prison 12 years for a while. He became a minister in that, and then took that out into the world, and they started a ministry, and they scammed a lot of people on that. And I said, oh, that's kind of crummy, scamming poor people. I don't want to scam poor people. I want to figure out one thing I can sell metaphysically to rich people. Maybe I can sell them my charm and my charisma. And I wish I could do that PUA thing and sell Mgtow to people, because I would if I could. That would make my life a whole lot easier. Uh, but all this pretty all in one package, and I can't sell it. But when I think about that, I think about the Toyota commercial when she opens up the trunk, and then there's metaphysical happiness in the Toyota. And I was like, damn, a whole trunk full. She had something in her trunk, and it wasn't metaphysical happiness, that's for sure. And them commercials, they always get the most beautiful girls with the most bodacious behinds. And she was leaning over that trunk going, ooh, sticking that thing out and saying, there's something metaphysical in that trunk. And it was one of those Freudian things that you wouldn't see and most kids wouldn't see, but an adult would go, yeah, there's something in that trunk. But you got to be careful about those trunks, because those trunks, if you fill them up with a baby, then you're going to be screwed for the rest of your life. And that's what the PUAs don't seem to realize. Most of the Mgtows get it, but damn, I got to laugh sometimes when PUAs come around. And we all know how it is. We've all been in those situations with females in those kind of situations before she takes that rubber wrapper and throws it across the room and says, that's a little bit uncomfortable. I don't want to use that. I'd rather feel the real thing. And you're in there going, diving. I'm diving in on that. And you're praying to God for the next month and a half, and asking her every day if she had her little friend. It's like, damn, I don't want to live like that anymore. Some bitch. But they're going to tell me that that's not true. But I know it's true because I lived a long and hearty life, and I think I pretty much learned all them lessons in life. You can ask my son. He watched me live in a van for a while. Cell tower was a great idea. Train pretty much. What do we got going in the chat? Marco. Did Dougie get red pilled? No, Dougie never got red pilled. I'm going to leave him to his own. He's a simp. But there's not much child support within the inner city for dogs. But I did want to tell you guys, out in the country, there is actual child. I flipped that off, and somebody said, there's no child support for dogs. And I said, oh, no, if you go about 5 miles this way, where it becomes rural, there's child support for dogs. There is. You find that out. Rural laws are very much different. If your dog runs over to another farm and gets that dog pregnant, there's farm rules. And you got to take care of those dogs, and you got to get rid of those puppies, and you got to do all the things that you need to do, because that's a working dog, and them dogs do work, and there's cost behind that if your pig roams over to another pig and impregnates another sow and it's no good, you got to pay for that. Uh, that goes with the sheep and the horses and the dogs and all those things. Them farm rules are really, if you ever get a chance and you want to do the funniest reading in your life, read farm laws. But out in the country, that there's a little different human laws too. Some of the child support laws and stuff don't exist because they can't have farmers getting their land taken by females, so they can not work it when the whole nation needs to eat. So some of the laws don't reflect the inner city laws. The inner city laws and the rural laws are much different, and you should look into that. And it'll be much easier to live on a farm actually out there if you own the farm, because you can't take it from you. That's a little tip. Um, but yeah, there's child support laws for dogs. There is. I know, Marco Polo. That's a funny one. I read that on. I was reading through farm laws one day, and because I was making sure, because Dougie had ran off, and I didn't know what the laws were in this area. And Dougie had hit one dog, and then he had beat up another dog, and then he had went over to another dog, and I was like, oh shit, one of those things come back pregnant, or I'm gonna have to pay for that. So I started reading the farm laws, and yeah, I would have had to pay for child support for little puppies. It probably wouldn't be all that expensive, but I had to put Doug on a leash and go, no, 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 buddy, you ain't running over the what, I can't remember, Lucky or Charlotte. I think the dog's name was Charlotte. You are no longer seeing Charlotte. And she was a little lasso opsu, and I don't think he liked her that much because he held her down when he was doing it. And he was really mean to her, and he bit her a few times. But that's how dogs tell each other they love each other, I think. At least Dougie does that. And that's what he did with the other two dogs. So Dougie's got a history of being just a little jerk when he was younger. He's getting pretty old now, and he's non-athletic. He can hardly jump up that first step to get into the house anymore. And he's just like kind of drags himself out, and he's like, this sucks. He's a lot like me. He's not very athletic anymore, and he's kind of cranky. Life is funny. And that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about humor. You got to find it where you can find it. And sometimes I do find it in Doug. He does the funniest things. He provides me with a lot of jokes during the day. And a lot of things I see around here provide me with some humor. Today I was talking about Pete. Pete, I can't even hardly remember his name. It's Pete, the guy Pete. He's making videos now. He's the newest PUA, trying to instruct us on how to get back to the blue pill world real quickly. And that would just make him so happy if we did that. Says, you can talk all day, and Mgtow doesn't really care what you're thinking. Yeah, you can spot him. No, you know a Mgtow when you spot a Mgtow, and that's basic truth about the whole thing. We don't really care what they're thinking, but they don't know that. So they think we're all fired up, and we're just trying to make fun of them so they'll go away. And the sooner they go away, the better. But I don't know, that Red Man group's been pumping a lot of these PUAs on us, and they think they got the world by the tail, and that's all they got is something by the tail, and it's usually called a female, so they can get inside that split V, and and that's what validates their whole existence. That's a pretty sad place to live. When a female validates your whole existence, you wake up someday and find yourself all full of holes, and you never really knew yourself. Wow. That's when the Mgtow will start making sense to a lot of people, when they get sick of the whole world, and they're not happy with themselves, and they look back and go like I did and say, man, was I a dick? I had to find some kind of happiness and joy with this body and within this soul, because woo, ooh, that bridge was looking good. I swear to God, at some points that bridge was looking good, and I didn't want to take one more step in this world. But Mgtow helped out a lot, and I'm glad I did it. And I've went on how long here now? I don't know how long I went on. I'm just trying to fill some time. 54 minutes. Boy, that's weak. 54 minutes for me is weak. But I was just trying to fill some time and get a little tired and take up for the Mgtow slack. There's not been a lot of Mgtow podcasts, and the quality of Mgtow seems to be going down the drain. And a lot of guys are getting scared away from it. And I don't blame them. It's a rough place around here sometimes, and somebody can come around and mess your hair up, do a noji on you, and that's what you got to get used to around this place. And I wish it was a happy, joy place, but it's not. But I'm trying to fix that and fix myself and try to be a better person about everything. And basically, that starts with me and ends with me. And each and every one of you, it starts and ends with you. That's the only thing you can do is just try to be a better person, a better man. And there is some places to find humor. As soon as you get that, you can sit down in that Mgtow bench, open yourself up on a Mgtow popcorn, and just start to, oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Look at that. And that's where it truly starts paying off. Because there's 1,000 Mgtow videos a day now. And some of them are really interesting, honest to God. Sometimes I don't even turn on the TV. I just flick. Oh, look at that. What's he saying? It is interesting. But I hope you're all having some kind of enjoyment with this Mgtow thing and you found a better way to live in your life, because I know I did. And I'm going to shut this thing down now and head on out into the couch out there. My chair broke, so I can't head out into my chair. I've been meaning to buy a new chair, but I just don't make it out that much to buy a new chair. I don't make it to the furniture store all that much in my life anymore. I was going to fix it, but that would be a whole lot of hard work, and maybe I will someday so I can get in my big, fat, comfy, cozy, lazy boy and just kind of snooze on that and just lay back and just be happy, because that's what I really like in life. Just being in my lazy boy and not having to worry about a lot of things. But hopefully you'll get that too, and hopefully I can get a new chair in there. And because I hate the couch. The couch sucks because you're one directional in a couch, and I don't like being one directional. And the couch wasn't made for sitting on. I don't think it was an old porn couch. I bought it because I was like, look at that porn couch. Ooh, that'll be useful. It's a leather porn couch, but it's not very comfortable and it doesn't really suit my style of living. It was just there because it looked good. No, I have to sit on it, and I think, well, that was a stupid decision in life. I'd learn there. But that's all I got for you guys today, and I'm gonna get out there and try to make the best of it and go pet Dougie a little and see if he wants something to eat before he goes to bed, and find the humor around here. That's it. I'm going to try to learn a little more about humor from the Soffits. That'll be interesting, and that'll be my project this week while I just try to be me. And like always, thanks a lot for coming around, Marco and G. Russell and the Bling and everybody that comes around and enjoys what I do here. Usually it's just sarcasm and absurdity. And if you can't find some humor in that, I don't know, maybe this ain't the place for you. But that's what I like. And thanks a lot for each and every one of you. And like always, Mgtow wouldn't be Mgtow without all you Mgtows. And each and every one of you are of value. Get out there and proselyte. That's what we do. We get out there and proselyte. If every Mgtow makes 10 Mgtows, this world's going to change. And that's it. You're important. Each and every one of you are important. That's it, guys. That's all I got. And most of all, hey, thanks a lot for being Mgtow. Mgtow.